Good morning. It's time for maths. We're going to do a warm-up together first of all, just to get our brains awake. So, what can you see in front of you? That's right, it is a number grid from 1 to 50. So what we're going to do is we are going to count, just like we did a couple of weeks ago. We were counting from forwards and backwards from a given number. So first of all, I'm going to do my turn, your turn. So first of all, we'll start from the number 4, counting to the number 14. So my turn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, now it's your turn in a minute. Now, before you do that, a really good thing for you to use is your finger. So whilst you're counting, just to make sure you're counting accurately, use your finger to count along the number grid. If you don't need to do that, that's fine, but it can support you just in case you get lost because there are a lot of numbers on there. So I had my turn counting forwards from 4 to 14. Now it's your turn. Off you go. Excellent. Okay, really good. Now what I want you to do now is I want you to count backwards from 26 to 21. So I'm going to have my turn first, then it's going to be your turn. Counting back from 26 to 21. My turn. 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Your turn. Brilliant. You did it quicker than I did, and I think a little bit more accurate. Right, now we're going to count forward from the number 40 all the way to number 50. So my turn, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Your turn. Nearly there. Excellent, brilliant, well done. Okay, so if you want to carry on playing with the number grid, what you might want to do is you might want to ask a brother or a sister, someone at home with you, or your mum or your dad, and come up with some challenges using the number grid. So if you're going to do that, I suggest that you pause the video before carrying on. Okay, for those of you who are with me and ready to move on, so let's go on to our next page. So let's look at what we're doing this morning then. So our learning this morning, well, we're going to be ordering numbers. We're going to be ordering numbers within 50, and we're going to, along the way, we're going to be using some of this language as well. Largest, smallest, biggest, greatest, least, most, and equal to. Don't worry if you can't remember all that. I'll come back to that while we're doing the lesson. As well as that, we're going to be returning to our symbols of less than and greater than, and using those to help us order numbers. Okay, so if you remember, we've already looked at ordering numbers within 20. So we looked at ordering numbers from smallest to biggest and biggest to smallest, or smallest to greatest, or greatest to smallest. And we're going to carry on with that. So it's a really good idea if you just want to pause the video now and talk about what it means to order numbers. So when we're ordering numbers, what does that mean? Okay, now we've been working over the last few weeks, we've been working with numbers within 50. So it's going to be something that you're used to doing. As well as that, we're going to look at our work on representations. Remember, we looked at different ways of representing numbers using concrete objects, pictorial, and sometimes abstract. So it's really good if you can remember how we can represent numbers in different ways, because we'll be returning to that work this morning. And of course, we would carry on with the symbols greater than, less than, and equal to. Now, first of all, begin with. There's a lot of information there on that page, but what I really want you to do is I want you to look at the cubes, because we've got three different groups of cubes there. They are all green, but what you need to do is you need to look at each of them going across. So we've got three groups there. Now, I think you can already be able to answer some of these questions already. Which group is the largest? Which group is the smallest? So just have a look at those. I hope that you said for the largest, that would be group 1. And which group is the smallest? That's correct, group 2. Now what you need to do is you need to accurately count how many there are in each group. Okay, so if you're just using the screen, what you might want to do is just pause this video and use your finger to count along. You can count in ones if you want to, or those of you that are used to grouping in twos, you can do that just to speed up the process. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you now just to count how many there are in each group, and what I'm going to do in a moment is I'm going to write those numbers in the box at the end. So just want to pause the video while you count. Excellent. Right, so I'm going to open my pencil tool here. So what we're going to do is actually count. So I'm going to just, for the ease, I'm going to count in twos. So there's group 2, there's group 2, there's group 2, there's group 2, another 2, another 2, another 2, and I've got one all by himself there. So we are going to do some work on counting in twos a little bit more next week, but for now, count with me. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 1 make, that's right, 15. That's 1 10 and 5 ones. Was that the same number that you got when you counted? Good. Okay, group 2 is a slightly easier because we just do group 2, group 2, group 2, and counted in twos. So 2, 4, and 6 in group 2. Then we go on to group 3, again, grouping them in twos. And if you can, at the same time, you can count along, because I'll check in a moment. I've got another group there. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So that's 1 10 and 2 ones. So we now know how many there are in each group, but the question at the bottom here is a little bit trickier. How many more does group 1 have than group 2? Okay, now that's quite a tricky thing to do, because what you've got to do here is compare how many more than. Now, what you need to do is make sure that you count on from the end of group 2, and I'm going to do that. Just help me by drawing a line there, because I can see that now this part of group 1 is the same as group 2, and what I'm going to do is count on the difference there. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So group 1 has 9 more than group 2. Now, how many less does group 3 have than group 1? So we need to compare group 1 and group 3 here and look at the difference here. So what we'll do is going to draw a line up from the end, oh, that took a bit of time, from the end of group 3 to group 1, and look how many less. Well, I can see that actually has group 1 has 3 more than group 3, so that means that group 3 has 3 less than group 1. Okay, don't worry if you didn't get that one. That was a bit of a challenge there. We are going to return to looking at finding the difference between two numbers a little bit later on this term, but I thought it was good that I put it in there as a bit of challenge for you. Now, let's keep with our group of cubes. So you'll remember that these are the numbers, so I've written those on already for us, because now what we need to do is we need to start with ordering. So not only are we going to be comparing, but we are now going to be ordering these groups. So what we have to do here is we have to order the groups of cubes starting with the largest group. Now you'll remember that we said group 1 was the largest group. So I'm going to just, using my pencil tool there, I'm going to write group start to the largest. I already know that the largest amount in there is definitely, that's right, 15, because 15 we just talked about is 3 more than group 3, then the number 12. So group 1 is the largest. Now we talked about the smallest group, so order the groups of cubes starting with the largest group. Well, I know in actual fact the smallest group is going to come at the end. So that was, that's right, that was group 2. Okay, a bit tricky there, so got a funny ooh sounding group. and then that must mean that group 3 comes in the middle. Okay, so that was just a quick comparison and a quick ordering. Now we're going to move on to a different representation. This is a representation of 3 numbers using Dean's apparatus, or tens and ones. Okay, so first thing what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and look at those representations. Now this is where it comes in really useful. We've done a lot of work recently on tens of ones, so you'll be able to see that we've got a 10 and another 10, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 and 10, or 2 lots of 10, make 20. So there's my 2 lots of 10, and now I've got 5 ones there representing the number 25. Is that the same number that you got? Excellent, good. Looking at group B, actually, I've not got any ones there, so we could just know that I can look at these as groups of 10. So I've got 10 and another 10, so that's 20, another 10, that's 30, another 10, that's 4 lots of 10, and another 10, which makes 5 lots of 10. So even if you're not that accurate or fluent yet with counting in tens, you can still know that there are 5 lots of 10s there. So it's 5 in the tens. So I've got my T there to represent tens, and then ones, I know I've got 0. So that is a number, that's right, that's a number 50. Okay, if you're not that accurate or fluent yet with counting tens, you can always have your number grid to hand and then count up, and you need to be counted up using, like I showed you in the last lesson, just using that tens column, and that'll help you. Okay, so we've done group A, we've done group B, now to group C. We know we've got 1 group 10, 2 groups 10, 3 groups 10, and then 1, 2, 3 ones. So 3 tens and 3 ones makes a number, that's right, 33. So which group is the largest? So looking at these, you'll be able to spot, that's right, the largest group is group B. And then which group is the smallest? That's right, it's group A. Excellent. So we looked at those groups. Now what we're going to do is we are going to order them. Okay, so it's a bit of a challenge here, because what we have to do is we have to order 3 numbers, and also I'm going to make it slightly tricky. We're going to bring in our greater than and less than symbols, just to recap on that. So first of all, if you look here, can you see what symbol that is? That's right, it's less than, because what we're going to do is we're going to order the 3 numbers from smallest to biggest, or from smallest to greatest. Okay, so have a look at those 3 numbers that we've got there. We've got numbers 24, 50, and 33. And Mr. Mabbutt's made a mistake there, hasn't he? I wonder if anybody spotted that. That should be 25 in the top column there, the top box. Right, glad that's got sorted. So which of those is the smallest? We've started with the smallest amount first on the left-hand side, and it'd be the one with the least amount of tens, which is 25. Good job that you checked that one for me. Thank you for that. Now, we could go into the middle box here, but what I like to do is I like to bookend. I like to find both the largest and the smallest amount first, and then work my way to the middle one. But you might be able to already tell me what goes in this middle box, but I'm going to go for the largest amount, which I know to be the number 50. Now, a good thing that good mathematicians do is actually cross off the numbers that they've used, so they know what is remaining. So I've crossed off the number 25 and the number 50. That means the number that comes in between both those, the number which is greater than 25 but less than 50, is the number 33, which I've not done a very good job of writing there. So we can now see that using those symbols, I'm able to say that 25 is less than 33, which is less than 50. Right, so Now what we're going to do is we're going to do some more comparison work, but what's really important now is that we're going to deal with just numbers. So it's important that you, as a mathematician, check the value of each of these numbers. So what I would like you to do is look at these three numbers that we've got here. And what I would like you to do is pause the video, and you've got a choice. You can either make those numbers with real objects, or you can draw jottings. Now I've got a picture here. You see it. This is how we did jottings. So those long sticks and the smaller dots there. That's a representation in pictures that I've drawn there. But can you tell what number it is? That's right. So there's these two long sticks represent tens. So there's two tens there. And then if you count the ones, yeah, that's accurate this time. It is 24. So what I would like you to do is I'd like you to do the same for each of these numbers. Now, a good thing that you can use at home if you've got them, post-it notes are really good for this, or you might want to just get a piece of paper and rip it into squares to write each of those numbers at the top, and then draw the representations, the jottings underneath. Okay, so pause the video now and have a go at writing those numbers and drawing the jottings, and then come back to me when you're done. Okay, we're back. So let's see how you got on. So the number 23 starts with 2 lots of 10. Oh, let's just undo that one. I'm not sure my pen tool was being very nice to me there. And then 3 ones. Okay, the number 49, I've not got much space here. 2, 3, 4 10s, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ones, and the number 19 being 1 10 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ones. Okay, hopefully your jotting's a bit easier to see than mine are there, but you get the idea. Now what we have to do is we have to order those numbers. Now what we're going to do this time is, can you see the symbols here? Now if we remember, the crocodile always eats the biggest number. That's right, we're going to order them from biggest to smallest, or greatest to least. Okay, so now that you've drawn your jottings, they'll help you to order those numbers. Now I don't want you to order the jottings, but I just want you to work on concentrating on the numerals, the numbers there, and order them. So the largest number would come first, which is, that's right, it's the number 49, because it has got the most tens. It has got 9 ones, just like number 19, but it's got more tens than 19. Now, again, what I said was, a good mathematician always cross off their numbers. Remember that. So I've crossed out 49. I know I'm now left with the number 2 10s and 3 1s, which is 23, and the number 1 10 and 9 1s, which is number 19. Now, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to go for the smallest amount, which I know to be the number with the least amount of tens. That's 19. So I'm going to place that here, cross that out, and that makes it easy for me to find the number that goes in the middle, which is 2 10s and 3 1s. 49 is greater than 23, and 23 is greater than 19. Okay, right. So we're not going to do these ones together. What I'm going to let you do is pause the video, and you're going to have a go at ordering these numbers. Now you'll see that there are first 3 numbers to order. Then what I'm going to give you an extra challenge of ordering 4 numbers. So, and I'm sorry, I've been really mean to you there, because if you look at those numbers at the end, that's right, they all got the numbers, they all contain the number. That's right, the number 4 there. So some tricky numbers there to have a go of, but what I want to do is pause the video and have a go exploring using jottings to help you ordering those numbers from largest to smallest. Now, if you want an extra challenge with those numbers, what you can also do is then have a go at ordering from smallest to biggest. It's good practice that you'll be able to do it both ways. Excellent. Okay, brilliant. Well done. Okay, now we're not going to stop to look at those ones, because what we're going to do is we're going to carry on. Now, I've got a problem for you to solve. Ted has been looking at ordering numbers. He's been looking at ordering 4 numbers. He seems to have made a mistake. Can you spot what it is? Let's have a look at what. So here are the 4 numbers that he picked. So using a number grid, he picked 4 numbers. So can you tell what those numbers are? 1 10 and 4 1s, 14, 1 10 and 7 1s. That's right, 17. 2 10s and 2 1s. That's right, 22. And 3 10s, 5 1s. Now he's ordered those numbers but Ted has made a mistake. So what I want you to do is look at this statement at the bottom here and see what Ted's mistake is. Okay, now you've had a chance to talk about that with your grown-up or your friend or your brother or your sister. Now what we're going to do is look at how Ted should have done it. Did you spot what he'd done wrong? Right, that's right. He used the wrong symbols. Let's have a look at that again. So he actually used the greater than symbols to order the numbers. What he did was order the numbers from, did you guess? Yes, that's right. Smallest to greatest, but he used the wrong symbol. So that's not what you should have done at all, because we know crocodile eats the biggest number, and 14 definitely isn't bigger than 17. 17 isn't bigger than 22, and 22 is definitely not bigger than 35. Because if you looked at those tens, you will see that actually, yeah, that's right, they're in the incorrect order. Okay, now there are two ways that he could have done it. He could have changed the symbols around. So actually he did a less than, so 14 is less than 17, 17 is less than 22, and 20 is less than 35. Or if he wanted to keep the symbols as they were, he needed to reorder the numbers, which I hope that you did. Excellent. Okay. So I've got for you another spot the mistake problem. And just an advice here, you might want to grab your 1 to 50 number grid, or you might want to grab a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can do your jotting. Right. Can you spot the mistake? Okay, now you've spotted the mistake. What I would like you to do is order those numbers, but order them in the correct way. You can choose. Okay, so you'll notice that the wrong symbol was used in the problem. It was the greater than symbol that was being used, and again the numbers were not in the correct place. That makes sense, because 12 is not greater than 21. Even though it looks similar, 12 has got less tens than 21, and 21 is definitely not greater than 33, and 33 is not greater than 35. So I hope you use jottings or your 1 to 50 number grid to help you work those out. Now, you could have solved it yourself by, again, swapping the symbol around. So instead of using greater than, using the less than symbol. That way you could have kept the numbers where they are, but then swap the symbols over. Or you could have kept the symbol the same and actually reordered the numbers so that it made sense. Which one did you do? Maybe you did both. Okay, so right, we're on to our last challenge of this morning. And this challenge has got more than one answer. So it's a bit more of an open problem. Okay, so here we have two representations of numbers. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to think about how you could complete the statement by putting a number into the middle box, this box here. Okay, now there are lots of different choices that you can go with to solve this problem. And what I would like you to do is I would like you please to think of at least 5 different numbers that you could represent or you could write, because they're boxed at the bottom, to make that statement complete. Okay, now I'm going to actually give you a bit of a hint here, because what you really need to do is you need to know the value of these two representations so that you can work out this middle one. So let's just do that bit together. So we already know that these represent, that's right, tens. There's 2 tens there. And then let's have a look at the ones. Let's count them in 2. So 2, 4, and 6. There are 6 ones there. Okay, and here we've got, that's right, 4 tens and only 1 1. So we've got the numbers 26 and 41. Now I've helped you there because what I've helped you to find is the number that is the smallest and the number that is, that's right, the greatest. So 26 is, can we remember the symbol? 26 is less than and is less than 41. Now, what I would like you to do now is have a go at thinking about the possible numbers that could go in the middle. Now, we can use our number grid to actually help us with this. So what I would like you to do is grab hold of your number grid and get that ready, because we know that we've got two numbers already. We know that we've got the number 26 and the number 41. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our number grid to help us work out what the possible answers could be, to go in that middle box. Okay. But bear with me 1 second. So I'm going to remember those numbers, 26 and 41. Now, number 26, I know, has got 6 ones in it. I'm going to actually start at my number 6 and go my way down the 6th column here and find my number. That's right, 26, 2 10s and 6 ones. Now, I'm going to quick glance back at the other number. That's right, it was number 41. Now, I know that's going to be both in the 40 row and also in the ones column. So let's see if we can find it quite quickly. Oh, it's easy enough if I start at my ones. Column going down, and there we go, 41. I've circled that. Now, why is it important, Mr. Mabbutt, you ask, that we use our 1 to 50 grid? Well, we know that the first number here, 26, and the number that comes here is greater than 26, not less than it. So it can't be a number that is smaller than 26. So that means that all the numbers that are less than we do not need. So a good thing to do here is cross them out. I'm going to eliminate all the numbers that are less than 26 on my number grid now. So that's a quick way of doing that. Just cross them out because I don't need them. They are eliminated. They are not useful in this problem. Okay, so I know that the number that I'm dealing with is not going to be less than 26. It is going to be greater than. Now, I also know that the other number on mine that I had, the other representation was for the number 41. Now, there's no symbol here on this side. Show me that the number is greater than. And look at it, this symbol here, I can also see that the crocodile always eats the biggest number. So actually, I know that 41 is the largest number, that number statement there. I know that 41 is my largest number. So that means I'm not going to be dealing with a number that is larger than 41. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, eliminate all the numbers that I don't need. Okay, now this is a way of helping me to limit the range of numbers I'm actually dealing with. So I'm going to swap over now and go for a different pencil tool, a different pencil color. Now I also know that the symbols using that problem were not the equal symbol either. So it's not going to be 26 or 41 either. I'm actually going to be dealing with, I'll just draw a circle on those to highlight. These are the possible numbers that could be in the middle. Now, because this is an open question, it means that there is no real one right answer. It means that there's lots of plausible, lots of answers that it could be. So it could be any of those numbers between 26 and 41. Now, whichever of those 5 numbers from that range that you choose are up to you. You might want to choose numbers within the 30s range or numbers going across, a bit of a random selection. Again, that's up to you. So let's have a look at the bottom here. These were the possible answers that we had. So they were 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, or 40. Okay, so those are possible because those numbers are in between. They are numbers that are in between 26 and 41, because we know that the number in the center here had to be a number that, whilst it was greater than 26, was less than 41. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you want to have another go, you can choose 2 random numbers off your 1 to 50 number grid and have a go at doing a similar problem yourself. See if you can get somebody else to work it out for you. Okay, so that brings our lesson to an end. So this morning we've been looking at ordering numbers between 1 to 50 and using the language of smallest, biggest, greatest, least, most, and equal to, and also using our symbols of greater than and less than to help us to order numbers. Okay, now I'm going to put a few extra problems on Dojo so you can have a go at solving those as well, so you can carry on working ordering numbers within 50. And next week, our next math session will be looking at counting in 2s and then using that to solve problem involving 2s. So that's a goodbye for now.